What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Bumbling. Wait, hold on. Hold on.
Okay, so it is, what's up, everyone? I'm bumbling,
Okay, and then
and
you
then
guys say
I'm
your
tumbling,
things.
I'm crumbling, and then you go, and this is the bumbling, tumbling, crumbling, whatever.
Yeah. Okay. What's up, everybody? I'm Bumbling,
I'm tumbling.
And I'm crumbling.
and that makes us the Bumbling, Tumbling, Crumbling Idiots podcast. I can fix that in post. I really... I am not here right now, apparently.
Alternatively, since you just mentioned fixing it in post, we could just retry it. We're not that far in.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. What's up, everybody? And I am Bumbling,
I'm tumbling.
And I'm crumbling.
and that makes us the Bumbling, Tumbling, Crumbling Idiots podcast. Welcome back.
As plenty of you might have remembered, we had a fun discussion last week about dice break. Well, a little bit longer than a week ago, but about dice and D&D and all that. And that was a fun topic. But bumbling and crumbling here. Wait, no, I'm crumbling.
Wait.
Bumbling and tumbling here gave me the honor of picking today's topic, and so I decided to go something a little bit more generic than D&D. We're gonna be talking about pieces of media we really like. Media in general could be a movie, a TV show, a comic, an anime, anything you like. And I think that the one I'd like to hear first is, okay, Bumbling, my good friend Wyatt. What is your favorite movie of all time?
Favorite movie of all time? The Great Gatsby.
All right. What about you, Tumbling?
It's hard for me to pin down a favorite because I like a lot of them. I really don't know, and I haven't watched a lot of movies recently. I'll be honest.
Okay. What's the best movie you've seen in the past, let's say, 5 years?
5 years? What movies have I seen in the past 5 years? This is a bad question for me, guys. Favorite movie? Cannot pick one. There's a lot of really wonderful movies.
That's fair. I have a similar disposition. What about TV shows?
Ooh. Alex, if you don't choose, I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
You better choose the right
favorite
one.
TV show?
What do you mean?
TV show right now?
Favorite TV show of all time has to be Community, of course.
Yeah,
Okay. Why? And
for
yours,
sure.
Alex? It's Community?
It honestly, I really enjoy Community. I think it's one of the best TV shows I've watched recently. Honestly, yeah, probably my favorite as well.
See, that's fair. That's fair.
Although we'll see. I just got off the tails of watching Breaking Bad. I'm moving into Better Call Saul. I'm watching a few other TV shows right now as well. So,
But okay, Has Been Hotel. I've watched that recently, and it's a pretty good show.
it's all right. I enjoy it. I like it.
I have to say, if I were to try and name my favorite show, I've got a bad history of not finishing things. But like, if we're going based on something that's stuck in my mind for the longest, there's a couple. Do any of you? Okay, I don't know if either of you guys are big fans of Netflix originals, but have any of you guys seen Hilda?
Hilda? No, I've heard of you.
Okay, let's try something a bit more, something people would probably know off the top of their head. Have either of you guys seen the Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated version? The one that has this more geometric face shapes and the overarching plotline.
Yeah,
I believe so. It's been a while since I've watched it though.
Yeah, that's fair.
I remember
I
not liking it, but
remember a good chunk, but I don't.
but I was also 12, and I couldn't keep track of a plot for the life of me. So
Yeah.
All right, all right. Uh, it was a really good show, and I think that it's arguably the best depiction of Scooby-Doo we've ever gotten, including eclipsing the original, because it's just great. It's so good, unironically.
What about the live action movies, Scooby-Doo and Scooby-Doo 2?
If you are insinuating that the live action movies have anything on Mystery Incorporated, look, neither of you may know this very well, but I promise you, go back and rewatch it. It is better than most of the shows I've watched today. Okay? It's good. It is good, I promise you. On a more interesting spectrum, what is y'all's favorite anime, if you even watch anime?
Not that wasn't that many of them. I that's a tough one. I've only really watched a couple. The one I enjoy the most, just because it's fun, is My Hero. Just because My Hero Academia, just because it's because I enjoy seeing like how different abilities cooperate with each other in the way that the show presents.
I don't watch anime.
Oh, that's too.
Really?
Oh, okay. I understand not watching anime. I will never judge someone for not watching anime because it's something that some people just aren't a fan of. I get that. And My Hero is not. It's not a bad anime. For all the flack it gets for like people online, I'd say that up to the overhaul arc, it is very good, incredibly good even. But around the time you get to the Paranormal Liberation in front and the more recent chapters, including the Vigilante arc, which admittedly the Vigilante arc was pretty good where it was, but it was like getting a piece of chocolate while you were trying to down a pile of shit. It falls off in quality, at least in terms of its writing, really fast, and the pacing just goes down the drain.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
It is very saddening because I was a very big and avid fan of it, very big and avid defender of it too. But at a certain point, it stopped being feeling like it was a Spider-Man story where anyone could be under the mask, or in this case, oh my gosh, you're quirkless, but you still show that anyone can be a hero if they're determined and they truly believe in themselves. I'm gonna let you use my quirk because you have the build for a real hero. Into, yeah, no. I don't want to explain things without having I don't want to spoil anything. But Wyatt doesn't watch, and how far are you, Alex?
I stopped around. I think I stopped right before it started getting bad. Like right before it started getting to the point where people started realizing, oh wait, this is going downhill.
Yeah.
Right
Okay. To anyone watching right now, I'm gonna say this. Hopefully, if Wyatt goes over this afterward, he'll put a timestamp on screen to where you should skip to avoid the spoilers I'm about to go into. It'll be very short, I promise you, and it won't even be that in depth. I will be paraphrasing most of this, but...
And for those of you who might be driving while listening to this, just crash your car and skip ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, that's how this works. Pull over in the middle of listening to your podcast that was meant to be in the background. That's just how it is. But most people have headphones anyway with touch controls. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm gonna start talking about spoilers in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so effectively, One for All is the main character's power. Gets stronger with every user. That's not a spoiler. Everyone knows that. But like, about a little bit after the Paranormal Liberation Society is revealed, All Might just tells the guy, yo, Deku, I know I gave you this because, like, you being quirkless was meant to be, even though you're quirkless, you're still worth, giving this power to because of your soul, what's underneath, what's on the inside. That's actually not why I gave it to you. It's just gotten so powerful that if someone with a quirk had inherited it, they would have died because it has too much energy in it. Also, you may be the last person to ever use it because it's gotten too powerful. Okay, bye.
That's crazy.
As most people know, as it's already been shown in the anime with the Vigilante arc, he has the quirks of all the previous users. You've got Float, Fajin, the Smoke Screen, Danger Sense, Black Whip. I don't remember the others, I'm going to be so honest with you. But it's turned into feels like a Spider-Man, like, oh, it's just a quirkless kid who's been given the power to finally be the hero of his dreams, into... It feels like an isekai protagonist where he just kind of lucked into being the guy who got picked, and they were lucky that he was quirkless because it turns out only a quirkless person could have wielded One for All at this point. And also he lucked out because he was strong enough to hold One for All training, and that it was at this moment before it had gotten any stronger or everything would be screwed over. Like it turned all of those nice characterizing moments in the beginning of the story into just set dressing. Like none of it mattered. He wasn't picked because of his insides. He was picked because he was quirkless. And also apparently the quirkless population is going down, like exorbitantly. So even if there was someone quirkless and they fit all the other specifications, they just might not be old enough to hold One for All. Like, they might not have the physical body capable of wielding it. So again, it just comes up with a lot of convoluted reasons as to why no one but Deku can use One for All. And you might ask why. Well, the reason is Deku was wanting to, like, see if there was any way someone else could stop Shigaraki, and nope, gotta be you. And he's like, well, what if we, like, turn him nice, because he was just a kid who was abused. Nope. He killed people. He killed so many people. Like, Deku should not want to spare him. And he might want to spare him, but that shouldn't be the way the story should go. But it feels like the story is bending over backwards to make up for everything Shigaraki has done, to make it seem like the ethical thing is to spare him, completely disregarding everything he's already done. They're trying to... how do I put this? They're trying to not really retcon everything he's done, but recontextualize it as oh, he was tortured, making him sympathetic. He's still, like, a terrible guy. He still did a bunch of awful shit. He still killed a bunch of people, and Deku's trying to treat him as though he did none of that and maybe fix him or whatever, like the delusional girlfriend. And that's probably not how it's gonna go, but that was a plot line that was introduced. Apparently there's racism with heteromorphs. That's interesting. It falls apart really quickly, man. It's whack.
That's really unfortunate.
All right. Well, that a lot of shows do kind of drop off after a point, and I think I know why. It's because, well, after the first season, you have established your characters, and after each continuous season, you kind of need to make them more wacky with each season. Like, it's a thing where a character over the course of a show may devolve in their personality traits because it is easier to write for that one thing, and it catches, like, they see something that's accessible.
Yeah, I believe that's called slenderization.
Yes, exactly. I forgot the word.
Yeah, coined off of Flanders from The Simpsons, because his personality evolved across the show's run.
Yeah, it happens with a lot of shows, honestly.
I think another thing is that, like, a show will have a successful first season, get renewed for a second season, and then that like, as it goes on, interest in the show dies down, and when they eventually get canceled, they have to rush the ending. It kind of ruins pacing for some shows. Shows that are otherwise written really well, like for example Disney's Owl House, get shoved down to 3-hour-long episodes, like 45-minute episodes, instead of a full season like it was meant to, and that fucked with a lot of the pacing for the finale.
Right. And so anymore, I can only, when I'm watching a movie or a TV show, I'm always analyzing the writing, I'm always analyzing the camera movement, the everything about how it was created, rather than just actually trying to enjoy the movie. I'll criticize a character for saying one thing and then doing the exact opposite, being hypocritical in their actions.
Yeah.
Right? And when TV shows go on for long enough, eventually new writers get introduced. Those new writers don't have the experience with the characters. And sometimes it feels like more like fan fiction rather than the actual show. A good example of this is Community Season 4.
Yeah, been talked to death, but it's true.
Yeah. That because Dan Harmon, the showrunner, got fired for that season. And the only reason why he came back was because everybody threatened to like quit or something, because everything was everything was falling apart without Dan there. The writing was not the best.
Yeah.
I have not seen Community yet, so I can't really comment on that. But it does sound like removing your lead writer could cause some problems. Speaking of Dan Harmon, this is another show that he works on along with, well, formerly worked with Justin Roiland on Rick and Morty. And while I don't have a full opinion on the show, I do want to note that they both did a lot of the writing early on, at least seasons 1 through 3. And it seemed very much behind closed doors that when it came to Harmon and Roiland, the reason the show was ever able to like sort of pull itself together is because of Harmon, whereas Roiland sort of aimed toward sort of sporadic adventures, just doing stuff for the sake of funny. Random equals funny, which that's not inaccurate. That's a large portion of the show's comedy.
Yeah.
Harmon was able to always make sure that worked organizationally and in execution, and managed to bring it back together. That's why I'm excited to actually watch Community once I can actually get over my secondhand embarrassment of watching the first episode. Because, jeez, dude.
Honestly, yeah, it's definitely, there's some episodes that are really hard to get through.
Yeah.
Which also, that's a huge thing in a lot of those shows. Is like the cringe comedy is particularly hard to get through, especially for shows like The Office, which relies super heavily on cringe comedy.
Yeah, I have not watched The Office.
There's legitimately there's a lot of episodes of The Office, probably more than any other show that I've watched, that I just can't watch. Especially, and again, this another thing that's been talked about, Scott's Tots. The episode where it reveals that Michael has told all these kids that he's going to pay for their tuitions or whatever if they do good. And then it's an entire episode of these kids like congratulating and throwing a party for this guy, for Michael, and doing all kinds of stuff, thanking him and all of this, and all leading up to him having to tell him that he can't do that. And it's just the worst episode to watch. Like, it's so hard to watch. Like, watching it the first time is about the only time I got through it. Like, I can watch it once, and I don't think I can make it through the episode.
What
again.
happens? What happens?
What do you mean?
Like there's no happy ending?
No, it's just he has to tell them, he's like, I can't do the thing that I promised you I could do because I wasn't as rich and famous and successful as I thought I would be. And he has to disappoint all these kids and then go home with that.
Are you? Oh.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I'm getting third-hand embarrassment. That's not even just embarrassment. That's just sad.
Yeah.
That's just.
It's like it's such a good episode and it's such a good characterization moment for Michael, but it's so hard to get through.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
That I am. You've rendered the yapper speechless.
Yeah.
Okay, hasn't
It seems that I have caused Crumbling to crumble.
Yeah. So, reversing, didn't Justin Roiland create Gravity Falls?
No, that was Alex something, I think.
Oh.
Alex Hirsch.
Dang. Well, that's embarrassment for me. I thought Justin Roiland had Justin Roiland.
No.
All right. Back to media. We like.
Yeah. Speaking of Gravity Falls is also a show that's very enjoyable. I love Gravity Falls.
I have not watched it.
Really? Yeah. No, I watched through all of it. Actually, I watched a lot of it when I was younger. And once it got to the end of the series for Weird Mageddon, there were certain parts where I was a kid who was afraid of my own shadow, and so I watched the first episode of Weird Mageddon, not even all the way through, and I had nightmares for weeks, and I never watched the show again until probably about a year and a half ago, where I watched through the entire series. And honestly, it's really, really good. There's a lot of really good foreshadowing, and a lot of really good plot piece, but seeing as you haven't seen it, I won't spoil that for you unless you're fine with that.
Wait, sorry. Who hasn't seen it? What?
I haven't seen
Wyatt hasn't seen Gravity Falls.
You haven't seen it? Oh, Gravity Falls had like a fucking.
Wait.
It had a vice grip on my life for years. I'm not even sure if it's let go yet. It's there. It's always watching.
So I'm looking through Justin Roiland's wiki page. First off, there's the allegations.
Well,
Yeah.
Hey.
I'm not going to list them off. He is credited to something in. He voiced somebody, some people. Blendon Blandon.
Yeah. Yes.
Bobby Renzobi. And additional voices. He was apparently in 7 episodes. Apparently.
Yeah. Blendon Blandon is a decently important character.
I love how he's credited for The Simpsons, Rick Sanchez, and Morty Smith. Because they had the little crossover thing.
Yeah. Yeah, Simpsons being another one of those shows that, sticking with the theme, fell off in quality once all the writers left. Or once all the original writers left. And now I haven't seen a lot of The Simpsons, but I have watched a good amount of people, talking about what happened with it and different episodes of it. And I've watched some of the beginning episodes of Simpsons myself, and I will say I really enjoy the episodes of The Simpsons that I've seen. But I've also watched it from the early seasons that people say are the best ones. Now The Simpsons, I believe, is still running, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, and I'm also going to chalk up a different quality to after that many years of being on air, how many new storylines can you create with these characters that stay true to what the characters are, right?
Yeah.
Like, how many times can you just come up with a new idea that, one, hasn't been done before, and two, allows the characters to be true to their characters?
Well, I thought The Simpsons was because there's 2 types of TV shows, and I don't remember the naming for them. the two types, but you got ones that reset the timeline basically after every episode, and then you got
Episodic.
episodic, and then you have the TV shows that go and they have the full storylines. Each episode is connected with one another.
Those are they're called serial shows, but they usually just call it an overarching story.
And there's a lot of shows that are both. There's
Yeah.
a lot of shows that are episodic, but it leads to a serial plot.
Actually,
right?
speaking of which, Mystery Incorporated, like I said before,
Yeah.
it is a episodic show with a serial overarching plot. It's both.
Yeah.
It is the best of both worlds.
Because, like, SpongeBob, another show that dipped in quality, is episodic, while Community is has an overarching story.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. The brilliance with Community, it doesn't. The overarching story, like, that doesn't stop them from having little episodic type adventures, because
Yeah. For
it's-
sure. I really, that is one of the factors that I love about Community, is the fact that it allows its characters time to just be characters and talk to and develop their relationships with each other, because there's either episodic, which is just reset every time, and so there's really no character development, which is fine, it's good, but it doesn't lend itself well to having like deeper characters. Serial shows often fall within the trap into the trap of there's not a whole lot of episodes where the characters just kind of the characters don't get any time to just be characters and evolve just episodically with some weird like side shoot thing. It's always some kind of like tie into the plot, and so they never get room to breathe. But Community, an episode, a show which is one of those shows that is both episodic and serial, there's a lot of moments that go tie into the serial thing, but the characters are always getting room to breathe, always getting time to just be characters, and it just has time to show the relationships between different characters, and how those change over time, which makes room for a really enjoyable show.
Like, I fully agree with you. A lot of people call, like, whenever they're just talking with each other and chilling and doing their own shit, filler. And I understand, like, people not liking filler, because, if you have it in the middle of a really big plot point, it kind of sucks. But
Yeah.
if you're in between big plot moments, filler is how you figure out characters doing all of the stuff that makes them them. It's how you understand character interactions, all the relationships, what they think of each other, what they think of the world around them. Which is why it really sucks that one of my favorite animes, Jujutsu Kaisen, sort of after Shibuya, this is no spoilers, just me saying, there's not a lot of filler. And like, a lot of people would call that a good thing. I would call that, I can count the filler, like, chapters on my two hands, and there's like 160 chapters out right now. That is not good. That is, like, post Shibuya, it is so just fast. And while I still really much like it, I feel like I would have liked it a lot more if there was more time for the characters to, talk and do things.
Yeah.
So, another show that I've heard of and have never watched is It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Never seen it.
Yeah, we have a good friend who loves the show, and I would love to watch it because the cast seems fun. From the clips I've seen, it seems like a funny show. I haven't gotten around to it yet, but I would enjoy watching that, I think.
But it's a show that, from what I've heard, it has not really fallen off in quality, and it's had 16 seasons. It's been on since 2005, according to Google. That is crazy.
Simpsons?
What?
What? Sorry, I'm a little high. What? I'm joking, by the way. I never ingest any form of any kind of drug into your system unless you are fully aware of what it would do to you. I am not inebriated. 16 seasons of what?
It's Always Sunny.
Oh, yeah, no shit. I have not seen that yet. I have no idea.
Yeah, it's always sunny. That's what season's not that sunny, but it's always sunny in Philadelphia. Is one of those shows that, like, if you're bringing up community, it's one of those other shows because it's similar in the fact that it's like it's an ensemble cast, comedy, right? Which is very vague and a very wide description, but it's whenever you bring up shows like that, you get It's Always Sunny, Community, and then Parks and Rec, which is another show that I haven't seen that I want to watch. Because I've heard that there's a lot of really great moments in that. I've heard that it's a lot of improv moments as well.
Really?
Yeah, I've heard that some of the best moments in Parks and Rec are improv.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, I know. I know. Especially there's a lot of talk about like Chris Pratt's like improvised lines in that.
Wait, Chris Pratt's in it?
Yeah.
Oh, we need to see it for Mario. Okay. Got it.
Yeah. He plays this guy who's like kind of dumb, very much golden retriever energy from what I hear. But I do really want to watch it. It's got a lot of people love the character Ron Swanson,
Ooh.
which is this like I believe he's described as a very hardcore libertarian working for the government, but he also does not like the government.
That is a great character description. Works for the government.
Oh my god,
hates
the clip of him just sitting down he's giving a tour to some kids of his office, and one of them's eating their lunch, and he's like, let me teach you about taxes. That sandwich, that's your income. It's your hard-earned money. You want to eat that, don't you? And then he says, he breaks off like over half the sandwich. That is taxes. And then he takes more and more food, listing more taxes, and he's just left with like a quarter of a sandwich.
Yeah, he just keeps eating it, and then it's so good.
Okay, I want to break off from these great shows. I'm going to talk about something that necessarily is a terrible show, and it's specifically made from a book. They had the guidelines, and they still screwed it up.
No, not Karate Cop. Was it Max Cop?
No, I was talking about it. I was, in fact, talking about One of Us is Lying. I love the book series. 3-book series. Love it to bits. I've read all 3 books. God.
Yeah, I read the first book on recommendation.
Yeah, and you need to read the rest.
Yeah.
I own the books, and it's great. They're hardcover. Love hardcovers. So, when I finished the first book, I was like, oh, there's a TV show? Let me check that out. And, well, I found out there was a TV show the same time I found out there was a sequel. So I had to go check out the sequel and the TV show around the same time. The thing is that the One of Us is Lying show does the book so dirty. Right? First off, the main teacher is gender swapped.
Interesting.
Yeah, the person that gives the detention is gender swapped, which is fine if the whole detention part. I'm not gonna spoil a lot of this. I'm not gonna spoil really anything. The whole detention part is entirely different. And oh my god. Here's the thing. There's this whole plot line around a laptop, which in the book there's no such thing about a laptop. And in episode 1, it reveals a plot, a little thing that had been built up through the majority of the first book, and revealed only like a little over halfway through the book. In episode 1, they reveal it right away. There is no build up. Just here you go, and it's terrible. Also, they, oh my god, one of the main characters, in the book, all of the main, in the book, okay, so the book, there's this kid named Cooper Clay.
Yo!
He is white. I made sure about it because I was like, there's no way that the show, just made him black. So I looked.
Okay.
The cover of the book, even though it covers his face, it still has skin showing. He's white. In the book, Cooper is white, and in the show, he's black, which is not like it's fine, I guess, but also he comes from the South.
Okay.
I forgot. Yeah, his parents are supposed to be like racist, right?
Yeah, like they're supposed to be racist conservatives. Where did the? Oh my god. It's just,
so it doesn't work as well.
it doesn't, and it upsets me so much.
Okay. I get it. I have a okay, it's not that controversial, but like, it's a little controversial. I think that BBC's Sherlock is a bad show and a bad adaptation of Sherlock Holmes. Full stop. I love Doctor Who, and when Wholock was like getting popular, I was like, I wonder what this is. Let me go look at Sherlock real quick. Nope. It takes everything unique about Sherlock and the mystery genre, rips it out in a haphazard surgery, mutilates it, lobotomizes a body that it was trying to do the procedure on, and then replaces it all with mechanical speakers repeating, "Look how cool Sherlock is. Look how cool Sherlock is. Look how cool Sherlock is." Because rather than, providing details that the audience could see in order to learn things, or having actual deductive reasoning be done, Sherlock has supernatural mega smart powers that are more often than not used off screen to learn things, and most of the dialogue comes from people talking about how conflicted and how intelligent he is without ever actually showing it. It doesn't do show don't tell, it does tell don't show, because a majority of the interesting stuff that happens is off screen. It is utterly inane. The ending is terrible, but even before that ending, none of the show really made any sense or mattered. Consistently tried to throw you into thinking Moriarty, the only kinda interesting villain, was coming back, and it didn't. Completely ruined one of the best Sherlock Holmes stories to have ever existed, and that will ever exist. And I just don't. It's how did they get funded? How did it survive this long? How could they do this to me? Why?
I've never seen it. I've never actually heard about that until you brought it up.
It's kind of unfortunate, but the only Sherlock Holmes adaptation I've ever seen is Elementary, which from what I've watched of it, I enjoy. It's probably not the best adaptation of Sherlock Holmes, but I do really like it.
What I've found out in recent is that a whole lot. Okay, so movie adaptations of books are usually terrible.
Yeah.
Compared to the book. I watched
because you get like a perspective in a book that is really hard to capture in a movie.
Exactly.
Um,
And it
yeah,
really doesn't work when you're trying to adapt a first person perspective book onto the big screen because you get the characters' whole thoughts in the book. I've watched The Hunger Games, and I'm reading the Hunger
yeah,
Games book. I have not read it before. I just finished chapter 1, and I already prefer the book because
yeah, absolutely. I am a big whoop, I'm a big proponent for saying that the Hunger Games movies are not good. They're not bad by any stretch of the imagination. They are not bad, but they are not good and they are not faithful. I will say, Catching Fire, they did that movie really well. That movie is a very faithful adaptation of the book.
I would
It
I,
works really well in movie form.
I am watching that movie currently. I was watching it just before we got on, and I had to pause it. If it is very faithful, I kind of hope not because
Yeah,
the first book I do not like Gale first of all, and this
Gale, honestly, and it's yeah, Gale is one of those characters that like you're supposed to like. It's not. I don't hate Gale. I don't dislike Gale. I do dislike the fact that it kind of delved into that plot point of she has to choose between two boys. What will she do? But it also handles it in a way that is really good and kind of subverts like what the genre usually does.
but
Well, I wouldn't say subverts because Hunger Games was very early concept of the genre, or very early one of the genre, and a lot of books after it is kind of copying that, which is why they're usually worse.
here's
Um,
the thing, Gale in the first chapter of the Hunger Games, she states that she sees him more as a brother and well kind of in looks, but also she does not view him romantically at all. The movie does not portray that really at all. In fact, the movie portrays it more like that they are romantic interests.
yeah,
And then
that's
in
that's the
catching
thing I don't like about the movie because I mean in the book, like she's kind of almost lying to herself, and you can tell that she's lying to herself when she says that she views him as a brother. Like she's definitely got some feelings that she cannot work through, but she doesn't have time to work through. She's a girl who is single-handedly pretty much providing food for her family. They are barely making it through as it is because they are in a weaker part of the district, and they are not getting very much income, seeing as no one's really able to work. Um, and so she cannot work through any kind of emotion, because of the fact that she's so overworked as is, which is one of the best like parts of that is that she very clearly is just lying to herself, just getting herself through the day so that she can worry about her needs and not her wants.
yeah, and like in the first chapter, she says that Prim is the only person that can make her smile, and that's kind of a sad thing, right? But another
Yeah,
thing is,
little that.
I don't like Gale as well because he feels more like he feels entitled to Katniss in the
That is
movie.
that is a huge thing in the movie for sure. Yeah, Gale feels very entitled to having Katniss, which is not cool.
Yeah,
Which to an extent there's some of that in the books, but it's less of an entitlement and more of a jealousness over Peeta. Which jealousness also comes slightly from entitlement, but it's not really portrayed as much as that, as it is in the movie.
yeah, and at least the Hunger Games got pretty faithful movies compared
Yeah, that
to
even yeah,
Percy Jackson, which they
really,
screwed royally.
really,
Which, well, they're making a TV show, and I haven't seen the TV show, but it is supposed to be very uh, it should be more aligned with the source material. But the movies,
okay.
oh my god,
Uh,
are they terrible? Because the first movie, it goes way off bounds with there were two movies, and the first movie goes way off bounds of the source material, and the fans did not like it. So the second movie, they marketed it as a more faithful adaptation of the second book, and that they were going to make a series about this. That second movie could not be farther from the source material. That movie was the farthest from the source material. Bringing in a big bad from the very end of like the book series, and a weapon from the very end of the book series into the second movie.
That's interesting. That's an interesting choice.
Which, oh my god, those movies aren't great to begin with.
Yeah.
Now, I know this was brought up earlier, and I know that both Wyatt and I have seen it all the way through. Alex has recently started it. Has been Hotel.
Yes.
There have been people making drama over it, or like arguing about Vivzy Pop every now and then. As someone who's not in any of those spheres and has no interest in drama, full transparency, that shit, ballin', respectfully.
Great. Now,
Yeah.
If you are a theater kid and like musicals, ballin'.
Yes.
I love how.
Although I will say, and I've said this to these guys before, but a lot of the music in the show to me is very forgettable. There's only a few songs. There's only a handful of songs that I've actually even remembered a little bit.
Now that is
not to say that the songs are bad, but they're not memorable.
I heavily disagree with that take.
I am on the opposite end of Alex right there.
I guess it's just not fully my thing, which is fair. I do enjoy the show though. I do really like it. I don't know. A lot of the music isn't all that memorable to me.
I mean, I have actively sought out the soundtrack outside of watching the show, and I have added them to my personal playlist. I will listen to those songs on loop, and that is.
Of all the songs, I've added one of them to my playlist.
Ooh, which one?
Obviously, "Loser Baby." But the reason I don't add more of the songs, and I do like a lot of I like the music, I do, but a lot of the songs either don't really fully contribute to the plot in the way they were going for, or they have a lot of unnecessary stuff going on. Not in terms of lyricism, there's a lot of unnecessary filler, or there's a lot of points where it's like this isn't achieving anything or
and
really working toward it.
A good musical with their songs, the music progresses the story.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And,
or at the very least, accurately portrays a character's feelings in such a way to recontextualize the story.
Well, hold on. What's your what song are you referring to with that? Because I need some examples. I do want to talk about that.
With what?
Like,
I
which
feel like
songs do you feel don't do that?
I feel like Poison, it feels more like a pop song, but it still progresses the story.
Yeah.
I don't like Poison, but I think it works for what it is.
Yeah, it works.
It works, but it's not all there. You know, like Poison feels like it could have been different.
Poison. I feel like if they had taken more of the Addict line, like I don't particularly like Poison or Addict. I don't think either of them are bad. They're just kind of mediocre. If they took better lyricism, maybe they picked a word that was easier to rhyme than Poison, I feel like they could have made a more interesting song. Poison is the one that I will fully agree is pretty forgettable. It's catchy, but it's forgettable.
Poison, I honestly feel like Poison could have been substituted with like some like character dialogue, and it would have worked just as well.
Yes,
because it's not a super necessary song. Like, it doesn't have to be a song. You know what I mean?
I feel that exact same thing with Hell is Forever.
I was about to say, Hell is Forever is one of the songs that I feel has a lot of. I don't. Hell is Forever being a song, fine. Hell is Forever as a song, I don't like a whole lot. It's fun. I'll give it that. It's fun. But it is the main song that I think about when I'm talking about like unnecessary filler, because there's a lot of points in that song where he's either just making noise or swearing for the sake of swearing, and it's not really conveying any kind of message or meaning.
I disagree. I very disagree. I feel like all of the things he did in that song were mostly indirect characterization. I love Hell is
Yeah.
Forever because by setting up the Angels riffs every time they're introduced, either in song or out, you get that little guitar riff, and in the songs they come back in, like You Didn't Know and the other one, you know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Their motifs get brought up, but they're recontextualized by what is done via the conversation at hand, like in You Didn't Know. Not going to spoil anything, but when they're having the discussion, they decide to talk, they bring shit back up, and it gets reversed, which I'm sure everyone and their mother has seen the clip where it goes, "If hell is forever, then heaven must be a lie." Like, using the same motif that had to be set up in the original Hell is Forever. It's almost like a pseudo reprise, and that doesn't work without setting it up earlier on.
Well, I will agree that Hell is Forever is like, it sets up a lot of stuff really well. But I'm just talking about like pure, like, as a song. It's necessary to be there as a song. It's not listen to me where like it could be replaced, because it can't be replaced. But it could have been written better. Because there's a lot of like I said, a lot of points in the song where it's not progressing anything, it's not saying anything. Um it's just and while I enjoy characterization, the music, being as this is, should not be purely characterization, right? There should be at least a little, right?
Well, that's okay.
And there's, I guess a little bit, but I didn't feel like it was saying anything. I just didn't.
It characterizes him by having him interrupt Charlie, so it knows that he does not respect. He mentions how he enjoys the extermination. It talks about how it's a question of fun. With it also he at near the end of the song, he does make the statement that they are going to move forward the extermination timeline, which again, I understand that could have been done via dialogue, but in doing it via a song, multiple times throughout the song, Charlie tries to pipe back up and re-enter the conversation, but he is dominating it and not letting her speak. He has absolute control in that conversation. I feel like the song helps convey that. He is taking over. It's become a show for him because he doesn't respect Charlie or Charlie's idea. I think one of the lyrics is, "So give up your dumb endeavor because you don't have a shot." He is arrogant. It really demonstrates a lot of the facets of Adam's character. Like, you understand it very quickly. And just before the song happens, we learn that he is Adam and why Lucifer probably didn't want Charlie to go there. I feel like this song not existing, I don't know. I couldn't imagine the show.
I don't think it shouldn't, like, I don't think it should not exist.
Lucifer wanted Charlie to go.
A lot of Adam's characterization, though, came before the song. It came in the dialogue before it. We already knew that he was an asshole. We already knew that he didn't respect her, and we got a lot of that beforehand. There wasn't a whole lot in the song that hadn't been in some way shown before. It just kind of more directly stated it.
Oh, so it's a pretty catchy song. I like listening
It's a
to it.
very catchy song. It's a very fun song. Like I said, all of the songs in the show are really fun, and I really,
Oh
really
my
like them.
god.
But a lot of them just don't. They're not doing. A lot of them aren't achieving what they need to be achieving in the moment.
Oh my god.
And a lot of them aren't really uh fully. It feels like there's something missing from a lot of the songs.
And
That I can't quite put my finger on.
I
I
don't.
agree with you on that. I think that's a fair point to make, but I
But
feel like that also is because of their short duration.
yeah,
They're really short.
they're
Well,
really
that's
short, and there's a
true,
lot of
yeah.
them because there's like 2 per episode. So they have to
Yeah,
be short.
I feel like yeah, considering the length of the episode and all that, it makes sense. But also to an extent, I feel like there should be um if the song, if it is the way it is, then have it like focusing on having, 2 songs or whatever an episode can also hamper the music.
Yeah.
And it can
Uh,
also maybe take away from parts of the rest of the episode that could have been better because they are spending a lot of time doing something that's almost unnecessary for such a short episode, you know?
yeah. A good example of a musical using music right is Be More Chill. That soundtrack is amazing. I have listened to that soundtrack
Mhm.
over and over on the loop, like all day before, because it's a great soundtrack. It moves forward the story, characterizes the characters, and the play. One of the final songs, not the last song, brings back past songs and reintroduces them. Right? And it's
Yeah.
great. It is perfect.
Michael is indeed in the bathroom.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
god. And Voices in My Head. Oh, such a good song.
Wyatt, it
Yeah.
does seem like though we are coming up on our timer. We've been at this for what, about over an hour?
58 minutes.
Oh wow,
Ish.
goodness. Any closing ideas I want to talk about?
Ooh. It was, I mean, musicals, stories in general. I love books, movies, plays, musicals. They're all great. I do love a good musical, though, because even though I may not be able to sing, it's just lovely. Musical songs are just better. And I'm not going to talk about them a lot right now because I think music could be a whole nother episode.
Mhm.
And so, just media as a whole can be done correctly, it can be done incorrectly, right? We need to respect our writers and make sure that they know that we have their backs, right? Because big studios may not care about them, but without them, they are not able to. The studios cannot make money. That's why there was a writers. Hold on, a writers. What? Strike. Yes, I forgot. I forgot the word.
Yeah, for sure. Because writers can make a bad actor incredible and a good actor horrible.
Exactly. Right, and sometimes it isn't always the writing. Sometimes it is just the actor. But it really because a good line can also be ruined by a bad actor. I'm just gonna say it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it also goes reverse.
Yeah.
Like good actors can work through a bad writer, and then bad actors can destroy a good one.
Yeah. And the thing is, with movie, it's a little easier to redo things, reshoot things, right? Get over bad acting a little. It's a little easier to get through that with a movie, unlike with like a play or musical. Bad acting in those, you can't edit those out.
Yeah, which is why I cannot. I don't I did not. I don't enjoy watching the there's like a rip of Be More Chill on YouTube. And it's not a good video because the singing is not good and the acting is subpar.
Yes, but I still enjoy watching it every now and then just
Yeah,
because it's
I would rather listen to the Be More Chill soundtrack
fair.
than watch the video. Because it's people who can actually sing. Not to say that there's people. Not to say that there's not talent in that video. There's a couple of people in there that are really really good. But unfortunately, it's just kind of overshadowed by the bad one, by the people who aren't.
Exactly. And, you know, nothing beats good improv. I'm just gonna mention Whose Line. Recently, the three of us were in a Whose Line show put on by our high school. Not anything that you could find online, unfortunately, which is sad.
Maybe fortunately, actually.
I wouldn't mind my improvisation up there.
Yeah, but either way, closing off, it's I don't know.
I mean, I mentioned Whose Line for the improv specifically. I guess like the show
Yeah.
Whose Line, SNL, those shows that require people who are good at improv. Don't necessarily need the writers, right? But improv does not carry a storyline, and at the end of the day, a good show is emphasized by its if it's based on anything that came before it, its source material, the writing, the acting, and finally, the camera work, because bad camera work can make anything good bad.
Yeah.
But I think that is all that I have left to say. Cooper, you've been muted for a
Honestly,
minute.
I don't know. I don't know why I picked media as my topic when I realized one of the only things I know myself for is not watching things and living under a rock. I don't know Community. I don't know Friends. I don't know Simpsons. I don't know Parks and Rec. I don't know It's Always Sunny. But you want to know what I do know?
What's that?
I know that the bird is the word. Bird.
And that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I am Bumbling.
I'm Tumbling.
And I'm Crumbling.
And that makes us the Bumbling, Tumbling, Crumbling Idiots podcast. And we're out. Alright, I think that was a good episode, folks.
I'm gonna cease to exist.